As of this Wednesday, I will have been in Israel for 1 year. My original plan was to go on birthright and to volunteer on a kibbutz for 3 months. 3 months turned into 6, and 6 into a year. Now I'm currently in the process of filing my Aliyah paperwork. 14 years ago, I came to Israel for the first time with my family on a 2-week vacation. Things have changed a lot since then, so when my friend back home said to me, "You're never coming back," I said, "Hell no, I'll never move to Israel." I remembered the dirty, crowded alleyways of the old city, the barren Negev, the unbearably hot August that my parents thought was a great time to visit Israel, and the lifeless architecture in Tel Aviv called Blakim. I compared that to my life back home in my cushy comfort zone, and I thought, there's no way I'll ever leave what I have in America for Israel. Even though I have an Israeli family and friends, I have Israeli friends and family, I couldn't let go of the idea that Israel was a place stuck in the past. After my Zionist birthright high faded, I settled into my new life as a volunteer on Kibbutz Yechiam in the north. I met other volunteers from around the world, and after an extended trial period, became friends with the kibbutznikim. I was only on kibbutz for 6 weeks when I decided to stay a full year in Israel. It took me about 5 minutes to decide that I wanted my second 6 months to be in Tel Aviv. When it was time to leave the kibbutz and I came to start the WUJS program, I was excited and nervous. I had visited Tel Aviv at least once a month, so I was familiar with the areas that I liked, and I knew I would have a good time. But by that time, I was already considering Aliyah, and I felt an enormous amount of pressure for myself to like my internship and to make Tel Avivian friends. It was a slow start, but soon I had a bike, my hair was getting longer, and I was yelling, "Nu, Yalla!" at people who were in my way on the street. Basically, I was assimilating. I couldn't have asked for a better internship experience. I work in the hair and makeup department at Hakamari Theater. My boss is incredibly supportive and knowledgeable, and I've learned so much from her. It turns out that I enjoy the work as much as I find it interesting, and for the first time in my life, I'm excited about planning a career. Luckily, my boss helped and offered me a job. I've learned a lot about Israel and Israelis in the last year. A lot of it is frustrating or confusing, but I think the most important thing is that there's more here than just a backup homeland for diaspora Jews. This is a place where people go to work or school, raise families, and make friends. For me, that's what makes the idea of living here viable. This is the improv section of the evening. For me, coming to Israel means coming to terms with Zionism and what it means to be a Jew, and what it means to have grown up an American Jew, holding on to traditions passed down from my Holocaust surviving grandparents, and coming to Israel and having the most secular year of my entire life. This is the first year that it's the first year of my whole life that I didn't light candles for Hanukkah. And I'm nervous and looking forward to the challenge of having the two parts of my life sort of converge upon each other. I have to understand what it means to be politically left-wing and also support Israel and also acknowledge the political situation that is here in Israel. And I also have to come to terms with what it means to be Jewish for myself and for my future family. That's that. Finally, I'm very grateful for my experience with WUJS and to all of my fellow participants. Thank you for putting up with my voices and accents, letting me cut and style your hair and do your makeup, and sitting through my questions last week with Lieberman's advisor. I forgive you for being loud in the hall at 3 a.m. and being so obviously American in public when I was pretending to be Israeli. You'll always have a place with me in Tel Aviv.